Welcome to another Rantcast. The TheRantCastPodcast returns. And this is, of course, intended for mature audiences because there's a lot of anger right now in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. And tempers are running high, and we've got the triumphant return of an old friend. The StrangeBus is with us today. I'm Kurgan, and this is the TheRantCastPodcast. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And I suppose,
good to be back.
I suppose the big question on everyone's mind is, where have you been? What have you been doing? Can you say anything about it?
Yeah.
I gotta turn this music down. Thanks to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio for the awesome audio, always.
Yeah, I can give off some details. So I guess just to kind of explaining my absence a little bit, I did it a little bit before my channel was deleted. I needed to take a break due to health reasons, pretty much, just to kind of simplify it a little bit. I visited a doctor and was told that if my health continues the way it goes, the way I keep treating myself, that I could have some major complications later on in life. So I decided to take it a little bit easier on myself. Doesn't mean I'm done with streaming. I may return. It's just not going to be right now. The winter time's hard. We're really busy. And I enjoy streaming a lot. So I kind of made it a passion project over the past year. And I got really involved. It stopped becoming a Friday, Saturday deal. So I started getting more involved. Not just Fridays and Saturdays at 9 p.m. I started doing everything myself because that's all I could count on was just myself for my channel. So I would edit, do the artwork. I get assistance from my friend Nick every once in a while. He'd send me stuff like the backdrop and whatnot, but everything else I did myself. I'd spend time during work or after work, or I'd stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning after taking care of the kids. So I'd sometimes go all night and just work on the channel and then stream the next day. So I'm okay doing it personally, but I started to notice I was having more seizures because I am epileptic. I was having more seizures. I was having more health complications down the road. And I knew if I didn't delete things, some people ask me why I had to delete everything because I had a really good community, and I had a channel that I could have saved. If I didn't, I'd probably be going back to it right now. Like, oh, just kidding, guys. I'm back. So I need to take a break, step back, and get some self-control. It doesn't mean I'm done with this because I'd be happy to stick with my cast. Just needed a minute, and doesn't mean I won't be back to stream. I'm just probably going to be a lot more casual. So that's what's going on.
All right, thanks for that. Well, I know a lot of people were wondering, and I did have people asking about you. So
yeah,
because
sorry, Polsky, because I kind of just dropped off the map without letting them know.
Any of us who have been on the internet for a while, and we follow various groups or people or creators or whatever, when somebody deletes their stuff, you don't know what that means. Did they have a nervous breakdown? Did somebody hack them? Did they get threatened? Or are they dead? But I'm glad you're still with us, and you're trying to not be dead, so you're trying to be healthy, and that's important. So yeah, I've always said to myself, I've tried to tell myself, because there is a certain addictive quality about what we do. It's like that rush you get from being on the stage or whatever, expressing yourself, and it's if it becomes too much of a strain, too much of a, I know some people do this for work, but we just do it as a hobby. But it's it becomes a passion, but if it becomes an obsession, if it becomes in any way unhealthy, it's that's when you got to pull back. So I could totally respect that decision, and there's more to life than just streaming. So believe it or not. And you put so much work into your stuff, and I was just like, dang, you just like chucked all that out. It must have been something serious. But I mean, when I was doing the rant cast, I'll be honest with you, I was doing it without you. I was like, man, it's just not the same. And I mean, Icarus did a great job. I really enjoyed interacting with him, and he gave you a lot of props too, like off camera. He really respects you and everything, and I think it went well, but still, it wasn't the same. So, I mean, yeah, we don't have to have the same schedule, but I mean, whatever you're able to do, I'm up for it, and just say no, and it's cool.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that. Like I said, I've had a couple people want to still do like game sessions or play Fortnite or Destiny 2, and like I've had the hard time of actually having to deny them past the hours of 12 a.m. So yeah. I've actually started having a bedtime now. So anywhere past 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. if it's a new game session, I either have to keep it to one round or I'm going to bed. So it's rarely ever to stay past that. Probably tonight I'll probably stay a little bit later because it's the weekend. But like me, about as much of my personal life as I'm going to release is I have a wife and I have 3 children. I also work a full-time job. This is just a passion project, and I've always stated that the StrangeBus was just going to be that. I never intended to make money or wanted to make money. It was always just an extra thing. People wanted to pay me, that's fine, but it wasn't a thing that I was banking on. You kind of have a hard time when you're in that situation finding extra things to do besides just lay around and being a vegetable in the middle of the night. So it was nice for the year that I had it. I just get really invested in things, and I'll be back eventually. Probably will not be taking up the affiliate from again unless I have to, but
you just
it
gotta
will be
wait till you get
very very casual.
Raided by all those fake bots. They'll like again. Man,
wow.
I have so many like memories. I mean, I missed a lot of your streams, honestly, because you were just like a machine cranking those out. But I mean, I remember, if you don't mind, I'm just going to share. So I remember you freaking out, like playing those ghost games. You're like, it was just like genuinely getting scared. Yeah. That was great. I loved, and the one where you're doing the VR and like it wasn't showing the LA Noir or whatever. And you're just like doing the movements and like people are trying to like spamming the chat like, hey, your screen's not on, your screen's not on. Like, and you're still playing the game, and then you checked it for a second, but it was too late, and you came back.
King still brings that up sometimes.
That was such a classic StrangeBus moment, and I always loved the fake bus background. Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers, it was fake. No, it's like that's a real bus. I spent a lot of time on that. I liked the pixel logos and everything and you put the scan lines on there, which is attention to detail. You played a lot of classic games. What was the other thing that you did that was really good? The Halloween game book reading.
Spooktober, yeah.
That was what was it? Spooktober.
Yeah, I take a lot of my inspirations from Vinesauce. So to let anybody know, that wasn't any original property. If you go to like Vinesauce to Vinny's channel, he does Spooktober stuff. So a lot of that was just me taking after another streamer. Yeah, it was modified.
We all have our influences. But I actually shared it with some family members, and they were just like, why does it look like that and stuff? And I'm like, well, see, it's like the scary camera, because we had the red tinted like fuzzy camera. And it was so funny because, like until you told me, I didn't even realize it. But I was reading the game book with my Uncle Zargon, outfit and everything. And there's like that window behind me. And like you like left to go do something. I didn't know what you were doing, but you like went around. And so like you had your face up to the window. Because I was always making jokes about, like, wouldn't it be funny? Like we're doing a stream and like a ghost comes to the window and we're like, what the hell? But you got there and you're like waving and stuff. But then just at that moment, I like moved over, so like my head is like blocking you completely. Just like I was completely oblivious. It was a great prank, but it's like since I had
my head in the dirty leaves,
I wasn't.
And you moved in the shot.
So you did all that for nothing. But no, you could still see traces of it, and I was just like, okay, watch this. Now watch the window, and then it's like, and then watch as I move into frame, because I was just reading the book. I wasn't looking at the screen and seeing like, wait a minute, what? Why is there a scary face at the window? So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and just the rant cast and everything. And it's funny because I was thinking if we get together for the next one, like do an on-site rant cast, I would like to do the HeroScape unboxing, because I actually have the game now. The classic game. After all that,
yeah, we can
see. We have our next topic to talk about, D&D WTF round 2, because I'm not a big D&D player, but I feel a lot of like sympathy, a lot of proxy pain for the D&D fans at this time. And in a similar way, I mean, it's a totally different situation, but when HeroScape, the Pledge Drive, the Hasbro Pulse thing, when that failed, that Age of Annihilation thing went down in flames, and they just said, no, there's no plans to bring it back now because it failed. I was like, dang. But I mean, I've been spending time with the HeroScape community. I'm like, you know what? I just want to check out this game. I found a great deal, and now I own it. So, it's kind of like you can get introduced to it that way. So I don't know if they're going to pick up a lot of people or what, but I know you've got something to say, and I know you listened to us, and some of the things you agreed with, and some of them you didn't. So I hope you're able to clean all the spittle off of your monitor that you were screaming at the screen when you were watching us.
Well, that's the reason I mostly asked that to do this today, was because waiting till Thursday, there's probably going to be a whole new list of
you're gonna be all calmed
rants
down
to do,
and
this will probably bypass.
Yeah, there's like right after the stream went up, like because there's like already been new developments since that last one. So
yeah, so I got a chance to listen, and if for anybody who's watching, if you haven't checked out the first part of the podcast, you probably should go and listen to that. So because I'm not going to be able to do as good of a review as iCarrot did, and by God, that guy did a wonderful job. Kept it really respectable. You guys did a really great job, and I like I said, enjoyed listening to it. So, but yeah, this is my take on it, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, by the way, did you see their official response? Did you read that yet?
No, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that eventually. Because I agree with a lot that iCarrot had to say in regards to, if you're gonna hate something, or if you're going to not like a company or disagree with the company, then you need to do it with the whole company. You vote with your wallet. I've always had that firm belief, because this reminds me a lot of the video game industry and how it's been running the past decade, 2 decades, probably longer. People will say that they don't like something, like, oh yeah, I don't like the way this company is working. It's got some really moral issues. It's kind of gone into some really shady territory. But the next Dead Space, I'm gonna buy that. Like, no, because your money, the big companies speak with money. At least to me, anyway. How I believe it is, they can hear your words. You can say fuck them all you want. You can tell them to go to hell. You can say, well, I'm not buying your products ever again. But the next demo they release, if they have a huge audience and numbers go up, or if their investors say, oh, things are looking good, then it doesn't really matter what you said before. They got your forgiveness, they got your money, and they'll do it again. So to kind of go in a different path from the way iCarrot was talking about it, I'm going to say this, and I hope some people follow my language. I will not wait for Hasbro to cover this up. I will not wait for them to come out and say, oh, I'm sorry, we did it bad. They've done this before, like you said, twice. They're doing it again. I'm guessing last generation was the father of the company. Now we're looking at the descendants of the company who own it. And they're doing it. They will do it again. They'll wait for you to forget. they'll release another product and wait for you to forget. They won't be seeing any more of my money, personally, for a long time. That's Hasbro, and no offense, that's Avalon Hill, that's anybody. I was in, and this is coming from a new consumer. I am not a 6-year, in deep person with these sort of products. This was a guy interested in HeroQuest. This was somebody who was interested in a lot of Hasbro products. This was somebody who was willing to promote that sort of stuff. No longer. So, and the reason being is because if they were willing to pull this sort of shady shit, what other shady shit they willing to pull? And to go into the next subject of the fact that, like, yes, we need to also think about the employees of that company. I want to make that statement very firm and clear. I respect Carmine as a person who gets involved with the community. He's doing his job. I don't personally know him. I don't have any affiliation with him. I respect him in the fact that he's gone out and he's getting involved with the community. That being said, I work a full-time job at a bank undisclosed. And something happens to our economy, like it already has been happening. If things go really south, if the bank makes a bad decision, I'm going down with that bank and I have to find another job. To me, Hasbro's made a really shady decision, and if it chooses to take their employees down with them, that really fucking sucks, and that's on Hasbro. That's not on me. And I will refuse to support a company because they take their employees hostage in that regard. Because I refuse to have that firm belief. I will support a company and its employees that follow it. I feel like there is a point to where we need to think about the people that work there because it's not their fault. Not everybody's fault, right? But at the same time, we also have to think about how deep some people go and where the meaning of I'm just working for a paycheck goes to that line, right? And like, this is just my opinion. No, nobody has to, die on their hill. But that's where I stand on it, because it's if it were me and I had many people backing me on that side, I would say Hasbro needs to be replaced by a better company, because the emo or the shady shit they're pulling right now is enough. To me, it's strike 3. You're out. People pull this all the time. There's companies that do this all the time, and I'll give you examples right before I'll let Kurgan continue. Bethesda is a big example of this OGL shit. I mentioned Kareth mentioned the fact that if you create a property within D&D, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kurgan, if you create a property within this franchise, they own it. Is that correct? It said that they owned it and could distribute it, right?
Yeah, that's what we were gaining from the 1.1, which they claim now is not really what's going to happen. But yeah, that's what they were saying.
About 5 years ago, Bethesda did the same thing with Fallout 4 and their third or fourth re-release of Skyrim. Made jokes about the re-release, came out and said, "Oh, it's going to be cool, check it out, blah, blah, blah." And then right before they did that was discreetly ripping popular mods off the Nexus site, which is the popular Nexus mod site for people who want to, make mods for Bethesda game or any game really. But like, a lot of people are confused, like, why are you ripping my content off now? I've been making mods for Skyrim since it released. Well, it turns out they wanted to do their own thing, and a company only gets shady when they want to make money on the thing on the creative properties that they're making. So
they're too lazy to do it the right way.
Yeah, well, and like I said, they could have just released it, and people probably would have said no anyway. But they decided to try to do what Rockstar did as well with Grand Theft Auto: The Definitive Edition. they released a really fucking shitty re-release and then decided to rip every other Grand Theft Auto game off the market. Because that's the only one you get to play.
Dang.
Same, like I said, same thing with Bethesda. If you create a mod on our mod manager, you no longer own it. We own it, we have the rights to distribute it, and you have to pay for it from now on. So if somebody created a mod, distributed it to their mod manager, Bethesda had the right to take your property and make people pay for it. When you could have gone to Nexus and got it for free. And donated it if you wanted, by the way. So if you liked a modder's work, you could donate up to $1, I think it was. But now you have to pay $10 for a gun skin. Now tell me that's fair. Because it's not. The routine's already been done many times with different companies. And at least in my opinion, I'm sick of it. This is a board game. It's a board game. It's a company that sells physical items. And like I said, I'm new to this stuff. Like, there's probably a whole underlying thing I'm missing here. But at the end of the day, if I owned a whole box of HeroQuest, if I owned a whole bunch of things, and I had Saturday game nights with my friends, and I wanted to bring them over, I could give a fuck what Hasbro's doing behind the counter. I could make up my own rules and do whatever the fuck I wanted to because it's in my own house. I have my own game. And if I was playing D&D in my own house, fuck you for telling me how to play my own game.
Yeah.
Like, so, the fact that they even have a license for this shit that's not on their own property is fucking absurd. But like I said, I'm probably missing the point there. So my message to Hasbro is fuck you, go fuck yourself. And that's my opinion. Take the money you have and choke on it.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody buys your fucking D&D Overboard or whatever, Unlimited, whatever the shit it was. I forgot what it was called. I'm sorry.
D&D,
I'm starting to get upset.
Beyond.
Yeah, I hope nobody buys your Beyond shit. Again, I hope you go bankrupt over it. Personally. I hope those CEOs choke on it because they're the last ones to die. In order for the company to go bankrupt, people have to lose their jobs, and a CEO, the big people at the top, the investors, the shareholders, whoever the fuck, they have to go with it. So we can't just complain about a company until it just turns around. I have never ever in my life, in my 30 years of life, seen a company do a fucking 360 or do a 180 and go, oh, we're good now, without doing something in the back door. We need a new property to come along and distribute something way better. I think Hasbro's time is over, to be honest. And that's with me. That's just with me. Prove me wrong, because I have an open mind on it. Somebody comes up and says, hey, look, this is what Hasbro's done over the years. They've done some good stuff. They're just in a rut. Let me show you. I'll break it down for you. Okay, cool. Might convince me to buy in the next 5 years when this shit's passed. But like, as far as it goes now, it's not just HeroQuest. It's not, and I'm still playing HeroQuest with you, Kieran. Don't worry about that. But
yeah,
as far as buying anything new from them or sponsoring anything personally, I will not, because I'm upset at them.
So when you and I are playing HeroQuest, like, your middle finger's gonna be up the whole time.
No.
Listen, I want to say one thing. So here's the thing. Yes, Hasbro has owned Milton Bradley this whole time, and so HeroQuest is a product of Hasbro Gaming. So it doesn't matter if it was Brian Ansell doing the miniatures, doesn't matter if it's Stephen Baker coming up with the concept, it doesn't matter who worked on it. Ultimately, the company made it happen. But my loyalty, if there is any loyalty here, is to the game. And yeah, people in Carmine are cool to the community. They talk to us like
they're super cool.
One gamer to another, rather than, oh yes, you peasants, here's my product. It's not like that. They like try to communicate with us and like tell us, okay, these are the challenges we're going through. We can't tell you everything, but this is what we're trying to do. And understandably, I mean, they're not the biggest fish in the pond. I mean, the company has to approve it. And so if they make a decision, and yeah, it's like, I don't want to be that selfish fan and say, oh yeah, well, as long as HeroQuest is cool, like, all these other franchises can be totally trashed and mismanaged, and the fans can just be dragged through the dirt and like nickel and dimed and pissed off, and they can be disrespected, but my little tiny thing is fine. So I mean, by the end of that stream with iCareth, I was ready to say, yep, Rise of the Dread Moon, it's this new product coming out for HeroQuest. I'm not going to get it until they get their act together. But you're going the next step, and I think it's so sad because let me just say this.
Don't be ashamed to do that, even if they do turn things around.
We have a different idea about this, and I can respect it. But look how sad this is, the situation, because you barely even knew what HeroQuest was before we started talking about it and collaborating, and you were like ready to get on board, like woo-ha, I'm gonna buy this game and we're gonna be playing it, and it's like you were ready. So it's like they were gaining a new customer, and now you're like, screw these guys because of how they're treating, and it's not the first straw, it's like the last straw for you. And I mean, I wasn't buying Hasbro products. I mean, I have like a lot of their game. I've got Clue. I don't have Risk, but I mean, I have Monopoly and everything. But it's all like old stuff, like stuff I got in at thrift stores or eBay, or my family had it from back in the day. It was all HeroQuest for me. It was like, okay, here's a property where they seem to be doing a pretty good job of like not trashing it, not destroying it, not going, oh, this is outdated, let's modernize it, let's change it, or let's split it up and just mishandle it. So it's like they were doing a good thing, and I'm like, okay, I want to support this. But looking at the bigger picture of like, yeah, D&D is big, Magic the Gathering's big, Star Wars, and it's like one by one these dominoes are falling, and it's like they don't know what they're doing, or they do and they just don't care, and that really leaves a bad taste. And then to see someone like you where it's like, okay, you just got a loyal customer and then you screwed me over, so now I'm just gonna walk back out the door I came in. It's like, how sad is that? And how many more people are gonna be that same way? I mean, because HeroQuest, we didn't need Hasbro support for 30 years. We kept the flame going, we kept it alive. And if they just went belly up tomorrow, we could take it another 30 years. So it's almost like we don't need them, but we want them to be good.
There are personal developers for HeroQuest and stuff too now. Like you can make your own pieces. You can get people who do graphic design who can make their own game maps. Like this is something Hasbro has that they can do on a professional level, right? Like I've always I talk about this stuff like in video games. To me, video games is more of a market that you're held over your head by a big company, because yes, you can mod, yes, you can make your own games, but it's way time consuming and stuff. Yeah. You have people who can do art, who can 3D print, and yes, it's not always available to you. So I'm not going to say like one is like worse than the other. Yeah. But the big thing is that you have a market where your imagination is literally the fucking limit.
Yeah. And I've got a pencil and paper, I can make HeroQuest.
Yeah. You can make a map. I used to, when I did the Star Wars D&D, I used the Star Wars figures I had that I showcased and some random map pieces. Granted, yes, there are people who like to showboat. There are people who like to take pride in their pieces. There are people who do that. What I'm saying is the fact that this isn't a situation where you're lost. Like your game is gone if they died.
Yeah, because there's no physical media; it's all digital. And
like, if we're talking about like some of like my games, like the Jedi Knight series, there are limited copies available around the world. Like, and the downloads that you get are licensed by Steam or GOG or whatever the hell. And if you lose those are gone.
Yep.
Like, so, unless you have a physical copy, that copy isn't truly yours unless it's physical. And I have physical copies, but like,
Disney can
unless
say,
you're not playing them,
we don't like this game anymore, and then it's gone. They pull it from all.
There's a list of games that were removed from Steam that just get removed discreetly, and you don't know about it until you want to play it again.
And I just want to go over just a couple of highlights, because you were saying like, okay, yeah, they can't kick my door down and like, grab my game out of my hand, but I think there was a perception before the
I'll die before that happens. Like, nobody kicking my door down telling me to play my games.
Like, say hello to my little friend. Yeah. So there's
I'll kick your ass.
Got balls of steel. Yeah, the thing about the game licenses, I think there was a perception, and I kind of bought into this at first, which is to say, oh, you don't have to worry about this unless you're Paizo and you're making Pathfinder. You don't have to worry about this unless you're Critical Role.
That's what I remember. Paizo and Pathfinder, fucking legends right now.
I think right now, my conspiracy theory is it's not about protecting gamers from racism or making sure that the company is diverse. No, they want to shut down all the Pathfinders of the world, and like they say, one D&D. It's like they want everybody.
They're trying to monopolize.
They want to corner the market and control it. That's all it is.
What was it you guys said? Expand. Like,
that was Microsoft's. Well, he was highlighting the fact that you get people from Microsoft who have this very draconian, grasping, crushing, way of making money, and then they're just moving right into Wizards of the Coast, and they're moving right into Hasbro, and it's like, what do you expect them to do? They're going to do the thing that they did before. It's like, when Vince Russo stops working for WWF, and it's like, okay, he was the trash TV, smutty storyline guy. And they get him on WCW. It's like, okay, he does the same thing. Okay, so then he gets fired from WCW. They put him on TNA Impact Wrestling. Well, what do you think he's going to do? Oh, he does the same stuff that he always does. It's like, well, he's a one-trick pony, And, I mean, people say he's a great guy off camera, but he was a one-trick pony. That's what he did. So, yeah, if your company hires someone who's known for doing a certain business practice, what makes you think they're not going to do that again? So that's why people are pissed off. And it's not just all that other stuff. It's when they were saying, oh, if we think your derivative work is offensive, well, by whose standard? Stuff changes. It's like, what's politically correct one year and the next year it changes. I mean, think of all these comedians where it's like they don't talk about their old work anymore because it's like, oh, yeah, all that stuff I did back then, that was racist, that was sexist, that was, whatever. And now it's not cool.
Once again, are we talking about being having these properties out in an open community? Because once again, to me, this is I guess if we're talking about sales and releasing it, then I guess
there's
people
mods,
could find it offensive. But
there's mods that you put out in public, which I think that's what I care more about. Because it's like, okay, if I make a HeroQuest mod and someone goes, you know what, that's offensive, we're going to take it from you. Oh, and then we're going to monetize it for ourselves, or we'll monetize it first and then we'll ban you. But they're talking more about you can create your own game using the D&D rules or some of the D&D ideas and sell it. And they're saying, yeah, but we basically, if it gets popular enough, we get a cut and we get to decide, we can veto content, or we can just take it away from you completely if we decide, and we don't have to.
The Bethesda method. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and game companies, because I remember this back in the Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 days, is there was a debate about that because all these games were coming out, mostly first-person shooters, where you could make mods, and there was always a license thing that said, well, we reserve the right to shut it down if we think it's offensive. Same stuff, same language almost. We technically own it, and it's like, and these companies, they wouldn't do anything about it. They said they would do that, but I mean, you had all kinds of Jedi Knight mods that had nudity and drug use and gore, and technically that was violating the license. People did it anyway, and
I would also think that back then it was more of a Wild West situation, right?
Yeah,
they were
but
just
now the
protecting
companies
their ass.
are serious. They've got billions and billions of dollars. They've got millions of customers that are counting on them, and they can just be like, yeah, remember those stupid rules that we had on the books all this time? We're gonna actually enforce those. And it's
I also have to think about it this way as well.
Really do it.
The modding community back then, a lot of that time it was put in a rule or a EULA or something like that. Those things are you can break them, and they can go after you for it, but it's not put into the license of your property. That would be you reading a EULA for a game now, which I'm pretty sure they're in them, but it'd be like me trying to play Resident Evil 4 and the EULA pops up and says, you can't mod this game. If you mod this game, it's illegal, and we have the rights to sue you and take your money, and any properties or anything that you do to modify this game illegally, we now own and can redistribute at the drop of a hat. And and you just scroll down, you don't see it. You scroll down, you hit accept.
Yeah, most people don't.
I mean, it's not like a pre-warning like with the modding communities back in the day where they're like, hey, like you can't post offensive or
and it was
politically weird material.
It was self-policing, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like there's a small difference there because now they're making it more of a legally binding thing. Like, they're trying to be more serious. Like, here is my contract with my 12 lawyers behind me. Don't break it. Or...
Yeah.
And it depends on how many lawyers I'm going to slam against you.
If you make a mod and you get in trouble for whatever reason, they have no liability. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess that's pretty standard. But it's just kind of like, okay, we'll take your money, but we won't help you. And, it's just... It's very...
I had a
very one-sided
example about that book. Thing that iCare said that.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, man.
I need to let you talk because that's why we brought you
on
the show.
No, you're okay. I feel like I've been rambling myself, but
so here's the thing though. The other reason people are so angry is because basically for all these years they were like, do whatever you want. We're really open, make your own stuff, and then they're like, nah, just kidding. We want it all back now. So they just want to take it all back. So what about all these products that are out there? Like one other thing, and I can't remember if I brought this up on the previous Rantcast or not, but the early history, and this because this was iCareth's history. The early history of Dungeons and Dragons is like filled with drama. Like Gary Gygax and the other guys like fighting over control of the property, people suing each other, like bad mouthing each other, I mean, if they'd had the internet, I guess they had Usenet, but I mean, I'm sure there were flame wars back and forth, and it was really contentious. And then there was this period of relative peace where it's like, okay, we finally calmed everything down. We finally got a system that works. We're a big happy family, even though we can't agree on, what this weapon does or what this character class does. There's always those nerd fights, but now it's like reopening all those wounds, and it's like, yeah, we're just going to be petty and immature and like grasping and litigious. Like the old days, like the bad old days. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to hear like veterans of the D&D community, like Shadzar. I mean, I know he's just one guy, like talking about, okay, this was this nice pure idea they had for a game, and then in actuality, the human element, the frailty of humanity and the money got in the way, and yeah, it's never going to go away. It's always going to be a temptation. Anyway, that's all I was going to say. Go for it.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you on that. It's kind of like like I say with the example that iCareth brought up about you making your own book. I feel kind of like this way. Like you make your own book, you go to get it published, and they make you sign a piece of paper, and they say, oh, don't worry about the details, we'll sort it out later. You sign it, and then when it goes to get sold, they go, oh, yeah, by the way, you're not getting shit.
You waived all your rights.
Yeah, you waived all your rights to the book. Like,
can't do us either.
So you wrote it, you did all the work for us, and now we're just reap the benefits.
Yeah, and I know people are gonna say, well, yeah, but it's their property, and they have the right, they have the legal right, and I'm always just like, yeah, they have the legal right,
no problem,
but they
have the rights to it.
They don't. It's the moral and ethical part of it.
Let me say it this way. Yeah, they have the rights to it, but then let's go all the way back to the days when modding was just a community thing. When you could rip apart a file from a game openly, like without any sort of issue, and there was no donations, there was no tip your waitress sort of deal. It was just people making fun of the property, and you downloading it for fun. The Wild West of the internet wasn't always bad, and that's what I'm saying. Is like there weren't always bad things to having communities like that.
If anything, it's worse now. I mean, people weren't getting swatted back then.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not just that, but like the fact that it brings me to another topic where I feel like we're starting to. There's a good and bad part to this, but I'm going to bring it up. It may be controversial, and I'm sorry, but it really is how I feel. I feel like people are now starting to say everything that I do, there has to be. I have to be paid for. You need to be paid for everything you do, and I think it's not only leaving a bad taste in my mouth, but it's kind of screwing with the mentality of our future generations and the people ahead of us. Because, like I said, there was people who did this to improve their skills, like who did modding to improve their skills to get into decent jobs. Like they would use their skills and then to be well, not just to be noticed. Like they could just they moved on to recognize their talents.
Yeah.
Or like there were people who just messed around with models and did stuff in Counter-Strike. And like I knew a lot of like the early Counter-Strike maps and like the early modding maps. There was a guy who did ridiculously complex maps that had like hidden shit in them, and I can't remember what his name was, but like you could still revisit a lot of the original Half-Life 1 maps today for free. And it's like nothing was expected of it. Yes, there were people who were like, hey, can I donate to this? Probably. Like, but the big thing is when you start expecting your work to be paid for, you can make a turd and expect 50 cents.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying is like,
well, and then you get people that they don't even create it. They just steal other people's work and say, oh
yeah, or
they steal run ads, we're gonna.
But then that's what I'm saying is like that. Then it starts getting into the copyright fiasco, and like people start losing their individuality, and that's what I'm saying is like, yes, you should be paid for your work, but like at the same time, when it's based off the work of another property, I feel like we start getting into the donation sort of deal, and like,
or just like
it's a whole nother rantcast for that.
You buy another
but like,
company and then just like monetize everything and say, yeah, I know the previous creator wanted this, but screw that guy, we're in charge.
Because I also ran a stream where donations were accepted, and I was just playing video games. But at the same time, like I said, my main focus of the stream was to just build a community based off games that were interesting, and the big thing was try before you buy. Like it was, if you're interested in a game that I'm playing or interested in a game that I might own or might want to get, I will play that game for you or play a part of it for you, and you will.
This man made a sale because I watched your stream of Thief the Dark Project, which was a game that I owned back in the day, but it didn't work in Windows for like the longest time and all these newer systems, so I just hadn't been playing it. I saw you playing it. I went to Steam. I bought a digital copy. So boom.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and you didn't get.
Did I also convince you to buy Jedi Knight? Was it Jedi Knight on Steam?
There was a couple. I think I bought. Yeah, because there were a couple games. Because it's like, okay, well, where the heck did I put that disc? Because it was lost for years. And I mean, I think.
Or the multiplayer didn't like function.
Well, yeah,
because it was like copies of the game.
No, it was Republic Commando. I bought the digital copy of Republic Commando because we couldn't get it to work. It's like, okay, well, maybe they fixed it on Steam and they didn't fix it. So it's like, shoot. But hey, Disney got some more money, and screw Disney. I don't respect them at all, but whatever.
Oh, okay. And that leads me to my final point here. Somebody's put to tell me like right now. I
also bought Outlaws again because of you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Because you were playing Dark Forces, and it was like, oh, the Force engine's going to support Outlaws next. And
I need to actually play that game. I've never played Outlaws before.
My other friend is a huge fan of Outlaws, Darkhawk, and he's always talking about it. And so I was telling him about the Force engine, and you were playing it, and I was like, oh man, Outlaws is next. I got to get it. And I was like, I didn't have the game, so I ordered it. And get this, I'm such a fanboy. Like, it was taking too long to be delivered, so I just got the digital copy. So now I've got the digital copy, and then I've got the disc. But the disc is great.
You got that.
It has all the cool like spaghetti western music on it, and you
got that burnout money.
Yeah. So anyway. But yeah, Outlaws is a great game. Basically, imagine Dark Forces, but just as like a cartoon, like cel-shaded Western with multiplayer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I mean, because my next topic, like, hey, StrangeBus, you've had so many rantcasts, or you like Star Wars. You're a Star Wars fan, right? What has kept you from having that same mentality for Disney or Star Wars, right?
That I would like to know.
If anybody who's anybody knows any of that stuff over there, the only Star Wars anything that I bought recently was X-Wing. That's a Hasbro product, by the way. I believe it's a Hasbro product, if I'm correct.
A lot of that Star Wars stuff now is through them.
Yeah, I haven't bought anything Star Wars in like forever. I think the last thing I bought was like a video game. And it was The Force Unleashed 2. So yeah, I'm sorry, I gave $5.
Wait, what about Disney. Jedi Fallen Order?
I bought that in 2019.
Okay.
I don't think I bought that recently. I bought it whenever the PC version was available. So,
okay.
I don't remember buying anything like new or any merchandising or anything like that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I bought a couple Halloween costume pieces like in the last 2.5 years, but.
And if so, everything you see in this room right now was previously bought prior to me having major qualms about Disney.
Well, now I just want to
except for that X-Wing.
Are you one of those guys that's like, okay, well, no, I guess you could still be true to that if you say, listen, I'm going to boycott their crap, and I'm going to just get it on the aftermarket. Like, somebody else already bought it, so they're not getting a dime when you buy it from the thrift store or eBay or whatever.
That's true. I also bought that at my, there's a local game shop that does that, and they will usually, usually goes to them, but it still supports the...
Because you're saying, like, I'm still voting with my wallet. And actually, like, I got into kind of because I love HeroQuest fans. We get into all kinds of debates. It's not just Amalgamash. I get into debates with some of those other guys, too. And it's all respect and, iron sharpens iron or whatever you want to say. But, like, people were saying, listen, the reason I pre-order stuff is not because I expect it early. It's not because I think I'm, cool or whatever. Like, I know I'm going to get it at the same time everybody else does. But the reason I do it is because I want to help the company. I want the company to know this is how many supporters you have. This is how popular your game's going to be. Like, they feel like they're, it's kind of like when there's an election. People wear, the big campaign button and they're waving the flag. Like, who cares? Nobody influences your vote, but you're just like, yeah, go team. It doesn't actually change the outcome. So they're pre-ordering it's like they're waving their flag of support. So, but then I'm saying, like, okay, but if I say, okay, after the Guardian Knights debacle, I'm not doing this pre-order crap anymore. So boom, you've lost that. My rung of support has gone down.
Well, isn't that the only way you can really buy new HeroQuest stuff? Is through pre-order now?
No.
Because doesn't Hasbro do Kickstarters for that stuff?
Nope. It was just the Mythic tier, just when they started. After the Guardian Knights thing, it's all retail. And
you can just buy it in store?
Yeah.
Well,
and actually,
they also have a shortage a lot of the time, too.
I went into well, yeah, they do have shortages. But, like, I went into a couple local game shops. HeroQuest was on the shelf. I'm like, hell yeah.
There you go.
The only thing it's missing is if I walk into Walmart or Target or Walgreens or whatever, and there it is. But I'm waiting for that. But, yeah, the fact is, so they delivered on those promises. And, yeah, the one store, they were selling it for $135.99, which is the same price that Hasbro Pulse is selling it for, which is a markup. But the other store, it was like $119, so that was actually under the MSRP for the retail. So it's like, that's good. And it's not like Games Workshop where, okay, it comes out and it's out for like a year and then it's gone.
And I mean, I'm serious. I'm like dead serious about how little I will spend for Hasbro right now. Like, to the point to where if I have to go and find new X-Wing figurines now, I will not only go through eBay, but I will make sure it is their only purchase they've made. They didn't buy duplicates. I am not fucking joking.
See, but again, it's like little by little they're losing your support. It's like, okay, so I was getting
because
VIP tickets, and I was
you gotta think about it. Like I said, I'm not like I said. Icarus was the guy who was like, hey, look, I've been around for some odd years. I've spent a lot of money. I have friends in the community who work for like Avalon Hill or whatever.
Wizards of the Coast. He said he knew
Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, some of the
so
WotC.
like, and if they decide they want to change things around, I still want to show my support. Like he has that, and like I said, I'm not bashing him for doing that.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is like,
for you.
To me, the belief is once again, it's one of those things where it's like, fool me once, shame on you. But the mentality for me is fool me twice, just go fuck yourself. Because in this sort of regard, you're supposed to rely on that retailer to get you what you want, right?
Yeah.
And they have many opportunities to make money. There was if you ever know who Jim Sterling is, he's a video game journalist. I would recommend you check them out. And they did a couple years ago, they did a kind of a review on how investors and shareholders and stuff like that can affect
acquisition.
A video game company. Yep. a video game company. Now, I don't know what article it was, but they probably have it all over their stuff. I haven't checked any of the latest stuff, but one of the things Jim mentioned was they always try to meet above what their goal was for their investors and shareholders last year. And it's always a meet, like you're trying to meet that goal higher every year. When is it enough? Because eventually the goal is going to be impossible to reach.
Oh, yeah.
We don't just strive for perfection in the hopes of never reaching it, and in that moment you're reaching greatness. For them, it's you're striving for perfection, and if you don't reach perfection, you did not make a sale, or you did not make profit.
I think I'm not going to mention any specific examples, but I think you and I personally both know of examples where that competitive, like, keep growing, infinite, profit has actually hurt companies. Like, it gets to the point where...
Well, it's the video game industry. Yeah. That's it. Because, like I said, a lot of that it doesn't run off us. It runs off their investors.
It's not subsistence farming. It's got to be bigger and bigger
the
at all costs.
Whole front row of E3 is shareholders, investors, and what the not. And if they don't like what they see, you're not only getting sued, but you may not meet the goal next time. And that's how a lot of video game companies die. Like, you're literally on a death sentence if you join a game company. Like we're afraid of that, like Avalon Hill going down. Imagine them being a video game company, because like I said, look up the lifespan of any major video game company in the late 90s. They didn't make it past the 2010s, and like, unless they were a major one, like we're talking like Ubisoft or BioWare, or like, unless they got if they got bought out. But even then, a lot of the big names buy out and kill the subsidiary, and then spread the employees out or drop them.
And I don't think anybody suggested this yet, but if there's any person out there that's like, oh, well, why can't Avalon Hill just say, hell no, and Hasbro, they could.
Well, they can't.
Well, all they would here's what they would do: they would just fire everybody, and they'd just replace them with people that would do what they want.
Yeah,
that's what they would do.
Like I said, they literally. Like I said, I don't know I don't know who owns Avalon Hill, but I'm assuming whatever they did was they were bought out. So
yeah, well, and the way Carmine puts it is, it sounds like they have a pretty good thing going where they've carved out a little space, and it's like, we trust you guys to do this. But if the company ever decided we don't trust you anymore, that's all gone. So
that's what I'm saying is, like, if Hasbro starts hurting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Hasbro starts hurting, or if they feel like their profits are going down on anything, right? Because Hasbro's a big company. They can afford to lose money, but they don't want to.
Yeah.
So if they lose money in literally anything that's related to probably Avalon Hill's going to take the heat.
Yep.
Regardless of whether it was their fault or not.
Yeah, like that apology they had to do for the Guardian Knights. I mean, I just imagine...
And that's probably... whose fault was that? Yeah. So, and that's what I'm saying is, like, a big thing here is Nightbird just responded, right?
Or the
Carmine can't have spoken out about any of this, did he? Hi, Kareth.
Hey, welcome.
And I don't know if he spoke about any of this.
Well, but, nobody's expecting him to spill the beans on anything, and if he has said anything, it hasn't come out. So
I don't expect him to risk his job. Why would I said before, I'm hardcore about it, but at the same time, like, I'm not gunning for anybody personal.
You'd be you'd be the guy who's like, okay, see this resignation on my desk, and here's the finger, and I'm out.
Like, I'm not like, like I said, I respect the guy. He does his job. He reaches out to the community. He has his own duties. He probably has a family to support.
Yeah.
The big thing here is, what I'm saying is, I am not going to stop not voting with my wallet, or stop not, like, because I'm done with Hasbro personally, at least for a long time.
Yeah.
And if a lot of people have that mentality, it can affect them.
Yeah.
And like I said,
special loyalty
with me,
to the company, it was just, I saw this little HeroQuest thing, but seeing the bigger picture, it does change.
And like I said, with me, I work a full-time job that also has those same loyalties. And like I said, if something happens to the point to where our company goes down, I'm going down with it, and I have to go find another job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to withhold my my want because they're pulling an Activision Blizzard, and they're gonna go, oh, sorry, we fucked up. We tried to be greedy, but we're not gonna be greedy anymore. So here's your properties back. Here's your OGL 1.0. You have all your stuff. But I just feel like it's kind of one of those things. I can see whatever he's saying. If he's saying the chat's gone bad.
Yeah, I can see too. That whole welcome to the chat thing over and over, I think that's just an old bug that's always been part of.
Yeah, I think it's like it's if the connection kind of like delays, but like we can see you.
But seriously, welcome to the chat.
Language.
Well,
guys.
see, that was my mistake. Because see, the Rantcast podcast is its own Twitch channel, and HeroQuest Fans is its own thing. And so, back in the day,
I was wondering what you were doing.
When we did the Rantcast podcasts, they were always on StrangeBus's channel. So I forgot to log out completely. So, yeah.
All good.
If you let a few F-bombs fly, that's just part of the Rantcast today. But yeah, I will upload this to where it's supposed to be when we're done here. Oh, but I gotta wait 24 hours. Dang it. Okay. That's my bad. On the next Rantcast.
Alright, well, but to close.
No.
To close, as far as political affiliations go, because you guys mentioned that, I don't personally get political anywhere in public.
I'm so sorry about that. We tried to keep that.
No. Like I said, this isn't my channel, my personal channel or anything. So, I want to be part of the Rantcast going forward again, but that's something me and you will talk about. But the big thing here is, as far as that goes, I agree with you guys on it. There's a time and place for politics, regardless of free speech, and I'm not going to deny you your right to tell me who you voted for or who you think is horrible, or whether you have a right to bear arms, or whether you have the right to smoke pot, or be whatever gender you want to be. That's up to you. We live in a country where that's acceptable, so go do it. But the big thing is doing it in a channel meant for escapist entertainment. Probably should read the room. So it's one of those things where there are tons of places where you can do that at. That even don't even match the demographic. Like if you want to go into Facebook and go, plaster your beliefs there. That has been the place for that. But as far as video games or board games are concerned, I think you and I care said it best. We go to get away from that shit.
Yep.
The last thing I want to hear after work is some asshole spouting who he voted for while I'm in my video game.
Or who you
go fuck personally, go fuck yourself. I don't care who the fuck you voted for.
Right.
I don't. As long as you're playing this game with me, that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what.
And
it's like having a job. You're okay, I'm on the job, but I'm not really on. My head's not in it. I'm doing something else.
Yeah. So if your head's in politics land and you want to sit there arguing with me, get the fuck out. That's it.
Yeah, it's not what I'm here for.
So, yeah, that's not what I'm here for.
Well, and we talked about it on the Rantcast because they had those clauses where they were saying like, oh, if you do something that's offensive, and it was like, okay, that's a real hair trigger.
What's offensive?
Yeah, offensive in our mind, and we don't have to explain ourselves.
Does the company have a list on what's offensive?
Yeah, it's like, okay, what are the banned words? Can you please, but see, the thing is, I can sympathize, and Icarith is on the same page with me on this. Like, when you're a moderator for something, it's like you've always got that person that's like, yeah, where's the line? Is it over here? Is it over here? Is it over here? And it's like, that guy is just trying to push your buttons. But when we're talking
is that just a clause to consider whatever they want to think is offensive, and because they can't find a reason for terminating you?
Yeah, it's like
you're just being offensive. Okay,
I fired him. Why? Because he was offensive.
That's all I can think of is because if they don't provide a reason,
so
then they can take away your rights and just say you're it was offensive.
The example was like, I make offensive quest. So I release Offensive Quest under the license. It's super popular. It's making money. And then somebody goes, hey, Offensive Quest.
Thinking about the offensive thing, they can decide anything is offensive. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
it's like,
in a few years, politics change. It's like, oh, well, you can't say that anymore. Like, that game is now toxic. It needs to be banned.
So
and
basically,
by the way,
what you guys
take your money. Yeah.
What you guys are saying is that you support Hasbro and what's that? Was that which of the something or other? I see. I'm so out of it.
The Coast.
Wizards of the Coast. Okay. Sorry, my acronyms are like really bad. I'm still new to this stuff.
I'm like, what the heck is WotC?
So to both you guys, I don't know if you missed the beginning. Nope. I'm out.
He's
out of
even more
Hasbro anything
than I am.
Like I said, my thing is you know, they've done this more than once. Even if it was like Daddy CEO who did this, and now it's the little greedy son who wants to try again. I don't really care who did it, but they've done it more than once. They didn't learn, and what's to keep them from doing it again? Like you said before, people seem to.
And his name is John C.
Got him. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's been done more than once. What's to keep them from doing it again? Because they're already okay with throwing their fan base away. So,
yeah.
For a long time, I will probably not be supporting or buying anything.
So it's probably
Hasbro related.
It's probably already a done deal then for you. But so this latest thing that everyone's blowing up about is they released a response, and they were like, "Well, everyone's going to say that the fans won because we're not doing the 1.1 thing, but actually we won and you won because we're still sticking to the things that we're going to do, but we're just getting rid of those royalty tiers." And don't worry, we're not going to steal your stuff, and we're still going to try to protect people from offensive things. And it's like people are just like pissed, and I personally think it's the right response because it wasn't really an apology, it wasn't really a retraction. It was just like, yeah, it came across as like, yeah, you just didn't really understand like how brilliant this all is, and we'll soften it just a tiny bit, but we're pretty much just going to do what we're going to do anyway.
So they pulled one of the worst YouTube apologies of all time.
Yeah.
It said, look, we're sorry, but we're not sorry. We just didn't explain it hard enough to you yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and so it's like...
Let me explain.
It's a test. It was like a test. It's like, they're just going to say, okay, well, we said something rather than nothing. It's like, yeah, but...
I mean, you misunderstood. Our writers miswrote. They didn't understand exactly what I was putting on paper, so let me rewrite it for you.
And they planned it all along. They were saying, oh, well, yeah, we were just, you know, it's just a draft. We were just getting feedback. But it's like that's the same thing like PayPal did. They're like, oh, yeah, we have this weird thing. Oh, whoops, that was just somebody mistyped
exactly, yeah.
Oh, we took it away. Oh, no, we're putting it back. No, we took it away again.
It's like the dudes on Sleeping Dogs. You know you want a pork bun. Come back. Let me retry. I sell you a pork bun. I sell you a pork bun right now. Like, it's...
I haven't seen that.
They're just going to try to twist it around. Well, to simplify it, they sound like those kiosk guys who they sell it to you once and you go, oh, no, I'm out. And you go, oh, wait, let me rephrase it for you.
Never gives up.
It never fucking gives up. So, like, instead of just saying, okay, so the community liked 1.0, we'll stick with that. Like, look, we wanted to try to go a different way. We're sorry. Here's 1.0. Like, I would have even taken that, and I'm still not buying anything from you because I know where you're fucking going with this. I'm not stupid. Did you hear about the YouTube agreement?
Oh shoot!
What? YouTube agreement? I mean, it's just YouTube being more shady than it already is. Because I mean, I've known about the.
They're planning lots of these guys, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, because YouTube's it's not just YouTube, it's YouTube or Google in general. Like, if you don't have Firefox or some browsers that doesn't support Chrome,
the ads.
They're gonna start throwing ads in your browsers too. So
you have an ad blocker.
Go get Firefox. Yeah, because they're gonna try to get rid of ad blocker, and you know how that fucking shit ain't gonna work. But it's Google. They'll press it. And they don't give a fuck what you think. They'll press it until you finally accept it.
And then they have that, you can pay a subscription fee and not get ads. But how long before they go, yeah, you pay the subscription fee and
connect your channel to a bank account And if we decide we paid you money and we're going to unpay you, we take it back after the fact.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had to because you were offensive. Sorry. You were spreading misinformation.
Yeah. So
whatever that means. Yeah.
Big thing is if
we have to
for
hold
me,
companies accountable.
I'm diehard.
They just do.
Yeah,
they do stuff. It's like whatever they can get away with.
If YouTube decides to be too shady, I'm not going to be on YouTube anymore. I'll just go to what's that? Dailymotion. Just go to Dailymotion.
Oh yeah, Dailymotion.
I mean, there are people on Dailymotion, just not big, just not big enough. And usually the people who post on Dailymotion post on YouTube. So it's one of those things where for now you can post freely without being paid, and that's exactly what I'm probably going to do from now on.
It's just a hobby for me. I just want to do it for fun.
Yeah, it's
without being
just a hobby.
Oh yeah, like I need to be a sex worker for your twisted corporation.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm trying to say it.
What are you doing? What are you doing there, Kurgan?
I was trying to say it in such a way that maybe it wouldn't be, but it ended up being worse. So never mind.
But yeah. Hopefully I'll get my name back instead of being video game theater and music. But if not, I'll just be video game theater. So just to finalize, shit's fucked in all sorts of ways.
You
and
can't have nice things.
I advise people, and this, like I said, this is just my opinion. If you're going to slam a company, and like I said, I've done this with Ubisoft, I've done this with EA. Well, actually, no, I haven't done this with EA because they're going to have that new Jedi game, and I'm probably going to want to buy it. EA, so, I'm selective with EA because they've gone down a bad road. I will probably test the new Jedi game before I buy it. I will find somebody who has bought it because there are influencers out there, and that's what influencers are for. They spend their hardworking money.
You can say I'm not pure either because I bought that stuff from Steam, so I gave Disney money. Despite all that.
Yeah, but you nickel and dime to them. I mean, I don't know.
Like
I said, at this point,
sale, and I bought the old school product, so it's like
the big thing is that if you're going to hate a company or bash a company, you want to vote with your wallet. So if there's I at least advise with a new product coming out, advise for people to not buy it. Stay strong. Don't buy. Yeah. Show them that you don't want it. Because if they think,
you're just an addict. You can't control yourself. If you're missing out.
Then we live in a digital age where there are hundreds of influencers right now who have bought it, and they're already making their money off those dudes. Yeah. And the big thing is that if it sucks, they're gonna say it sucks unless they got paid to say it rocks. And you're going to know the difference between the two. And you're going to be able to see it. Yep. And agreeing with Nightbird, Icarith here is really at this point, I'm going to say this in general, I don't care what the fuck Hasbro does. They come out with an elven maid that washes your dishes. I don't give a shit. I'm not paying them a dime.
Well,
and like I said, sorry Avalon Hill, because that's the ship you're going down with. So I hate to say this because
get Rise of the Dread Moon. So
that's a start. It's a start for you. But but as far as playing HeroQuest with you, that's not gonna change. If I'm available, I'll still hop in. But it's one of those things where I'm not. It doesn't cost me money to play HeroQuest with you. Yes, it does spread promotion. Yeah. But the big thing is I can still tell people, hey, look, don't buy it. Go out and play with your friends. Yep. At least until Hasbro gets their shit together. And gets their shit together.
Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, you play for free. Yep. Unless Hasbro wants to shut that shit down too. And if they shut that shit down too, fine. Nobody will want to play your fucking shit because I won't. And like I said, I'm the new customer. I'm the guy who just walked into this stuff. I was eager to learn. I was interacting with the community who worked with Avalon Hill at one point in time. I wanted to do things. I wanted to buy stuff. I was very close to buying a brand new set of HeroQuest because, as much as you had the old set, I was just wanting to see if I could get a new set myself. But yeah, unfortunately, unlike Icarith here, I'm done for a while. I'm not permanently done because you can't really be permanently done. Companies do change.
Yeah.
But I'm done for now. Enough to say that they will lose more than they gain from me.
Yeah.
Because they could have made a lot more. I could have been. Yeah, I mean, like that. Like they give a shit about that. One customer is not enough, but
a lot of people are doing it, and like you pointed out, the most positive, like enthusiastic fans, they have problems with it, and they're saying like cancel your subscription, and it's like what? And these are like influencers bigger than
there's
we
the
are.
thing though, is companies have always done shady practices, but at the same time, they're getting worse, right?
Yeah.
And to me, there's a line that gets drawn between microtransactions and a lot of the extra shady shit they've pulled. Back when it was like, recycle your ideas, make them more expensive, start pumping out side like DLC-esque stuff, or I don't know what the hobby would be for board games, but it's one of those things where there's always a way to make a profit, even underhandedly make a profit. But they are literally looking you in the face and saying, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and you'll still buy it. They've gotten to that point to where teenagers will literally just buy whatever the fuck they want. They're eating out the palm of their hands out of the gullible. The literally gullible. And the people think that they're not. And it's... they do need to walk it back. And like you said, we need to take... It's not just Hasbro at that point. I'm talking about a lot of companies. We need to...
We can guarantee we can count on your vote. We're gonna take it for granted, and you're just gonna eat what we're shoveling out. Like that's the attitude I get.
Yeah, so it's and like I said, it's happened in the video game industry. This sort of thing has happened with that. Yeah. Because at the same time, like I said, Bethesda's done this before, where they've taken creators and told them that we own you. We own your properties if you make stuff with us. That didn't work very well, to the point where they had to back all the way the fuck up. Yeah. And then Rockstar's done it with Grand Theft Auto. So they're
pushing people into the hands of their competitors. That's what they're doing.
Well, yeah. Not just that, because we don't really have very many competitors anymore. Because the other competitors are doing it too. It's about taking a break from your new escapist entertainment, enjoying your old escapist entertainment, and telling the companies, fuck you until you're done doing this shit. I'm not touching any of your new stuff until you get over the fucking whatever the fuck you're gonna do. Your investors and shareholders can yell at you all day until you guys figure out a new fucking plan to sell something that's worth my time and is actually reasonable. And nobody I think nobody younger than me has that common sense. But that's just me. I'm being stupid about that, of course. There's probably 20-year-olds who have the same mentality. But I just feel like a lot of people nowadays, they're sucked into their phone, and they just push whatever button they want until they feel good.
Yep.
So, I mean, at this point, we might as well just start injecting them with dopamine and just calling it a day.
Well,
but
and it's peer pressure again. But instead of okay, your shallow friends at school, it's some weirdo online that's telling you, oh yeah, this is the stuff you gotta like, and this is how you gotta think.
Yeah, you wanna feel good? I'll let you feel good with this microtransaction here. Yeah.
Hey kid, you wanna fly? Click here.
Click here.
Swipe this way. Ugh.
But yeah, so I mean, that's my firm belief on it, and I've got to go in 5 minutes, so that's pretty much all I've got. Yeah, and like I said,
this is the calmest rant cast I've ever done with you, right?
Wow. Fine.
It's a different kind of anger. It's
Hasbro. You should be run over by a bus. Not really. I don't care. It's just it's one of those things where I feel like I've had a lot of serious things to say, because this is a very serious. This isn't just Star Wars fucks up again by making a really stupid show. Disney made a really stupid show about Star Wars, and I have to come on and tell them how stupid they are. It's one of those things where this is a company pulling something that has been pulled for the last 10 years, and I'm kind of sick of it. I don't know if it's my age. I don't know if it's my mentality. I'm just done. And like I said, if you're 15 years younger than me, and you're looking at me going, you don't understand, well, then I'm going to tell you, you don't understand. You haven't been fucked over enough.
Yeah. It's
So,
like, look how jaded we are.
prepare for the next...
Yeah.
Prepare for the next 15 years of getting bent over, because that's pretty much what they're going to do to you. And that's okay. So, yeah. Get off my lawn, you hosers!
Get off my plane!
Yeah. It's just one of those things where like I said, I don't know if it's my age, I don't know if it's just how I feel anymore, but
it's experience, I think.
I don't expect them to be perfect. I don't expect them to be pure, because at the end of the day, you gotta make money. You're a business. You gotta make money. You gotta do it any way you can possible. But there are better ways than saying, man, I can do a better job than Hasbro. I can just go to my local black market in the alleyway, and the guy can just upcharge me 100%. And I feel better doing that than going to Hasbro for my products. Like, you know, the lesser evil sort of option. I shouldn't have to feel that way about a company.
Yeah.
Nobody should. And
with
I understand
trying to improve their image, and it's like, oh, we care, and we're just so tuned in with people.
But they don't.
Responsible.
And
it's just a
I'm
facade.
tired of
it's fake.
people thinking that they are.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying is like it's not the words being said, it's the fact that people continue to buy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know what it is with our brains where people can say, oh, I'm sorry, but here's the next product. Like I said, Activision and Blizzard did it. The Hong Kong riots were a thing. Yep. They stood for China instead, and people got pissed. And then they were like, oh, we're sorry. Here's Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. And everybody was like, oh, we forgive you. Yeah. And then Diablo 4 turned out to be a complete dumpster fire. So, yeah, I can understand that, but it's one of those things where, you know, I've seen it happen now more than once in my lifetime, and that's all. That's enough. That's enough for me. So, in my final words, you know, I hate to say it, but fuck you, Hasbro. And I hate to see Avalon Hill go down with the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, they won't ever go down, but like the fact that, because there are probably good people at Hasbro.
Yeah.
But there are some really good people at Avalon Hill who are literally, like I said, they're just doing their job. And, but, you know, it doesn't keep my opinion from the fact that, like, I don't think that should stop you from voting with your wallet and not buying anything at all. Because
there's good people,
you have to get past the good people are what's keeping you and the assholes who are making those decisions afloat are those good people. And unless you tell everybody to say, hey, quit your job, you're not going to teach that asshole at the top a lesson. They're just going to say, oh, we're sorry, and then they're going to do it again.
So they'd have to all quit and start their own company.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to start paying them to like keep it, and then assuming they didn't get sued into the ground by their.
And there's some good people at Wizards of the Coast too, yeah. But the big thing is that, like, as fucked up as our situation is today, I put those people in the same position I would put myself in. If I lost my job due to a company doing a stupid decision, I would expect my friends to support themselves and not me. So that's me. You know, I worked in IT for 10 years. I did my own business for 10 years. If I did something shitty or I fucked up and my employees had to take the hit and they stood with the ship, I would expect my consumers to follow their heart, not the other way around. So, because it's up to me to take care of my employees, to make sure they're taken care of, I don't expect my consumers to do that job. My consumers are there to help support the company in general. And if the company falls, well, that's on me.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
And then if I fuck up, then my employees take the hit. So like I said, that's just my opinion, but don't ever let yourself feel like the company's got your friends hostage. Because at the end of the day, they're following their passion, which is games. And if it's worth the struggle, then they'll do it. If not, there are other jobs you could proceed in the future. Like I said, I'm an asshole about that. I can expect people to tell me I'm an asshole about that, but and don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting people to leave their jobs, right? What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, when I think about it, I also think about it on a business perspective, which puts me in a really asshole-ish position. Because the people I'm attacking personally about this are the people above them. But you can't get through to them without voting for your wallet and telling them, hey.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm not done permanently with them. And like I said, I respect that you're going back if they change.
Sorry, I lost your voice there for a second.
No, you're okay. But I feel that for me, it's just one of those things where I think a better company needs to be replacing Hasbro at this point. I think Hasbro's had their chance. I think we need to have somebody better step in.
For these properties. Yeah, but like, how do you do that? I mean, unless they all quit and start their own company, or like they bust them, because all these companies, they stay like 1 inch away from the legal definition of a monopoly, so that they can.
And that's what I was saying is like they've done so much to own these properties that like you literally can't make another one without.
Yeah.
But like I said, doesn't what was it Pathfinder? Pathfinder's doing pretty good. So like I said, it's one of those things where
people were just bombarding, like, help us. Paizo are our only hope.
At this point, you really just need somebody who has a similar property that's not HeroQuest or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever the hell, and they'll run to it right now, right? The orc? What? I must have missed that.
Quoting from I don't know why the Lord of the Rings memes always come up, but it's just like, yeah, it's like the time of man is over.
Wouldn't that be called the Oracle? It'd be called the Oracle, wouldn't it?
The Orc, this is a reference to the Open RPG Content License. So they're being clever with their acronyms there. Yeah, and we didn't get to see it because their website crashed, but yeah, he did say Oracle License.
Well, anyway, that was my rant.
Well, I have the fandom
kids to take care of, so... But I want to thank you so much for taking the time to make this happen for me, because I requested that we do this today.
Yeah.
So they're releasing a license they won't own. Yo, iCareth, me and you need to get together with Kurgan again. If we might do a rank. We're doing a Rankcast Thursday, right?
If you want to, I'm up for it.
All right.
Because originally I was gonna say, well, you and I didn't get a chance to do one, so it would be next week. But hopefully we're not all burned out by then.
Yeah, if you ever get the time, at least I'd love to have you back on again. That would be a pleasure. So, but yeah, I don't disrespect anybody who has an opinion here, right?
So the three of us, and then we can get Amalgamash in here too.
That'll be
steel cage.
The big thing here is I'm always gonna have just opinions on stuff, especially in this sort of topic, because I'm very uneducated. So I look to people to tell me that I'm wrong. Hey, you're wrong on this. Let me tell you why. Let me show you some links. Let me educate you. Let me break it down for you. So I'm always about that, and I will be happy to spend a Thursday doing this with you guys.
This isn't playing a game as much fun as it is. This is the future of culture media and the idea that megacorps literally own us. Well, yeah, that is kind of the bigger thing.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Yeah,
it is. Anyway, Kurgan, I'm gonna let you close off. I have to go because I've got kids that are almost about knocking on my door. But once again, thank you guys for having me. I'll talk to you guys later, and eventually the bus will return. Just not right now. So
on the next RantCast.
Have a good night, everybody. I'm out.
Thanks, man. You take care. Everybody in the chat, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next RantCast tomorrow. The plan is HeroQuest on HeroQuest fans on Twitch, if I can make sure I log into the correct account. So everybody take care, have a great night. Yeah, Hasbro, get your act together because you're losing customers. You really are. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great night, and I think can we raid somebody? Let's see. It doesn't look like anybody's on. That's okay. All right, that's our stream. Take care.